Hi, and welcome to episode 5 of West End Talks. Today I have the absolute privilege of speaking to Maiya, who you will know from playing Catherine Parr in the second OG lineup of 6, and also Casey's the Musical. Welcome, Maiya.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's genuinely an absolute privilege to have a queen in the building. You know, I've got my crown on.
There's two queens here. I see it.
Yeah,
my crown.
Yeah, I'll take mine off because I am not worthy.
Oh no.
You're definitely better. So, but welcome. Thank you for taking part. What we'll do is we'll get started the same way as we normally do at West End Talks, and that's just asking a couple of questions about you, and then going on to the fans' questions. And I can assure you, are you comfortable? Because we got quite a few questions in from fans.
I'm ready. Yeah.
So just starting, obviously, the same way as normal, and just with the question, how did you get into performing?
Oh wow. So I had a singing teacher when I was 9, and she used to put on these little like 9-day musical things, just like she wrote her own musicals, and then it was like she got like loads of like students and people that she taught, and we'd come along and put on these shows in 9 days, and we'd do it like at the end of 9 days, like show our parents and stuff, and it's just a bit of fun really. And I really enjoyed doing that, but didn't realise I wanted to do that, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really enjoyed doing it, but I was only 10, so like you don't really know exactly at like 9 and 10 exactly what you want. So I was like, oh, this is fun. And then I went to see Oliver when I was 12 in London, my first West End show, and Kerry Ellis was playing Nancy, and everyone knows how much I love Kerry. So that just was like my moment of like, okay, I could do that. Like, I want to do that. I just loved how it made me feel watching it, and the thought of what they felt when I was like, that's inspired me. So I made the steps at like 12 to be like, this is the college I want to go to. This is what I want to do. So I applied for college like literally 18 months later. I was not attending for like another year. And I got in, and then, yeah, and it just kind of like snowballed from there. But I feel like I started late in that sense, because some people that were in my year at college, or some people in my year at GSA, had been dancing since they came out of the womb, whereas I didn't start till I was 16, like disciplined dance anyway. So I felt like I'd started really late, and I didn't know much about musical theatre. I just knew I enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's kind of my story.
Brilliant. And it's nice that it's different. It's a different story than what you see like everybody else that starts from the womb and moves on, you know.
It kind of pushed me more at college, I found, as well, because I was in a year with quite a lot of people who had lived, breathed dancing, singing and acting since being young, and done loads of shows and stuff, and I'd up until that point not done a lot, maybe done 3 or 4 shows, but I'd done a lot more like cabaret style stuff,
right?
Through my singing teacher. Like she had like these like concerts at school, and I'd sing in them and things like that, but never took it any further than that. So it was just a matter of when I got to college, I really had to push myself, because I didn't know how to tap. I didn't do ballet. I didn't do jazz. So I just had to stay every day after school or after college and learn how to do a tap spring. I remember me and my friend Victoria spent an afternoon tap springing across the theatre because we needed to learn how to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it pushed us, and then I managed to get myself to top start tap. I did. I worked hard.
You worked hard. Good. Good. What was your first show?
My first show ever.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to class my first show ever as Rent at college.
That's a good musical to be in first.
It was one of those musicals where I made myself ill getting it. Like I was like, wanted it so bad that I made myself ill to get me, and I got it. And honestly, when I mean it was like the best like 6-7 weeks of my life. It was amazing. Like the rehearsal period, the show, just everything. I was only 16 at the time, and I don't even have any words to sum it up, because still to this day it was one of those shows, and even me being so young, it was just one of the best things I've ever done.
It's one of the shows that when I was at school, I couldn't remember 2 + 2, but I could tell you how many minutes were in a year.
Oh yeah.
That it was one of those kind of shows. I'm like, okay, can't tell you what 2 + 2 is, but how many minutes in a year? 500 Why, that one.
I did it in the quiz the other day to see how many people knew.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great one to slip in. Like, you know, that's how to discover the musical fans.
Exactly. But my boyfriend's dad trying to start to work it out, being like, right, okay, there's 24 hours in a day. I was like, no, it's much more simple than that.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to calculate, just sing. Just sing. I remember one of the times I was at a pub quiz and it was me and my family and that question come up and it wasn't a musical round, it was literally, I think it was general knowledge or whatever.
Yeah.
And I went, and I started singing it and I went, oh, remember, no, quiet. And my mum went, how do you know how many minutes in a year? I went, Rent. She went,
educational. It's educational.
Went, it's a musical. You said musicals weren't educational. Well, I'll tell you. That's the only reason I know that. Great. So what a brilliant show for first show. Rent definitely is. It's an iconic musical, definitely.
Yeah. And because it's obviously not done that often, like when it does come up and when we got the opportunity to do it at college, like I was like, I have to be a part of this.
Like,
I made myself ill getting it, like genuinely, because we auditioned over like a 3-day period. It was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and if you got to like Friday's round, then it was like you either were like either being in it or you were not going to get, do you know what I mean? Like it was that like it was like your finals, and then we had like the Saturday and Sunday off over the weekend, and I was honestly, I was making myself ill. I went in on like my day off to go and see the cast list. I used to have like Mondays off, and I literally, I went in, I was like, Mum, you have to drive me in. I was like, you have to drive me in because Cass has just went up at 3 o'clock, you have to drive me in. So she drove me in.
Oh, parents of musical theatre students.
I know.
Same, I feel sorry for her, definitely. But they had kids, and especially musical theatre lovers. But anyway, we'll now move on to the fans' questions. And as I said earlier, we get comfortable because we have quite a few. Because as everybody's aware, Maiya was in a very small, we were saying this just earlier, just a small musical called Six. Some of you may have heard of it. It was on at the Fringe a couple of years ago, and it's now on the Arts Theatre in London. So it's just a small musical.
Oh, it's tiny. It's tiny.
Yeah.
No one's even ever heard of it.
No, it's got a few fans, just one or two. Yeah.
Really small fan base.
I'd say it's one of the biggest musicals of the 21st century. That's definite. I think that's a better way of putting it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So anyway, Layla, just going straight in, Layla asks, she's actually asked 2 questions, but the first one she's asked was slightly actually to do what we've just said there. What was it like being in a show with such a big fandom? Or Queendom, as we should say.
Queendom.
Queendom is what you were named them.
It was mental because we didn't know that was going to happen. Like, we didn't anticipate that this show would transcend the way it did. Mm-hmm. Like, but not just transcend across the UK, but like now worldwide, like globally. The thought of that, it's kind of like, wow. I don't have any words for it. And I remember saying to the girls one weekend, like, it seemed to be all calm, and then we came back to work on the Tuesday, and I said, I don't know what is in the water, but I want some, because everyone went wild. Like, the show just like blew up overnight. That I honestly, I don't know whether it's me just noticing it at that point or whether it was already happening before, but it hit me on that Tuesday, and I remember thinking, wow, this is a big deal.
Yeah, it certainly, it was it literally out of nowhere. Like, Six wasn't a thing, and then suddenly you were up for every award, or not every award, but every award you could be in the Oliviers, and I'm like, okay, so where did you come from?
Yeah, it just erupted, like, because someone asked me the other day as the question of, like, did you realise when you were on tour that this was going to happen? And I said, when we all signed up for Six, when we got our contracts through, we just thought this was going to be a 6-month tour, and that was it. And so did the producer. Like, nobody anticipated the success of the show after the 6-month tour, because the 6-month tour, like, in the first couple of weeks was a slog, because we were trying to get people to come and see the show. People didn't know what it was about, and sometimes people are not always like accepting of things that are new. They want to see your long-standing musicals, which is absolutely fine, but obviously those long-standing musicals started somewhere as well, and that's where we were. So we were slogging away at the beginning, trying to get this musical out there, tweeting, Instagramming, doing news radio things, and just anything to get it out there. and it paid off. And when it did, it was like, as if, like, this is crazy. Because you just don't anticipate in the moment when you're putting all this hard work in. You don't ever know when you're going to reap the fruits of your labour. You don't know. And then when it did happen, it's just immense. It's immense. It actually is immense.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. Like, I'm not musical theatre. I love musical theatre. I'm a fan, but I'm not a performer at all. But I can imagine putting hard work into anything and then getting the fruits definitely back is big. The other question that Layla asks is, how did you cope with sometimes young audiences confiding in you with some of their issues?
I struggled. Me personally, I think it affects some of the other girls as well, but me, because I'd never dealt with something like that before, and no one prepares you for that side of it, because that doesn't come in your contract, if that makes sense. No. Like, it's not actually a part that you don't get paid for that side of it. You don't get paid for that. It's not your work. So I was like, that is not my field. Like, I don't, because what it was is I didn't want to end up giving like the wrong advice and that be weighing on me, because like I never want, obviously I don't want anyone to feel upset, and obviously anyone could ever come and speak to me, but I'm always like, oh God, what if I say something wrong? Because I'm not qualified in that area. No. And at one point when a lot of young fans were confiding in me, I was going through a lot myself personally. So when you're going through a lot yourself to try and combat what you've got going on, but then added on top of what somebody else is trying to confide in you with, it really bogged me down. Like, I really struggled, and I think I just had to put out like a little post just to be like, I don't mind you speaking to me, but please just be mindful that like I'm not qualified to be a therapist. Like, I'm a singer, I'm an actor, I'm a performer, I'm a dancer. I don't know how to offer this kind of advice, but I always do say to people, like, if you do need the help out there, it is out there, go and get it. And there's no shame in it, no matter how old, young, male, female, and whatever you identify, that, do you know what, go and get the help you need, because I'd do it, and I recommend anybody to do that. But it was a lot at one point, and I understand that in the fact that we're so accessible at that point as well, because obviously you got Instagram, Twitter, people try and contact you on Facebook and email you, so you are constantly being able to people to connect with you, which is amazing, but sometimes it's hard to switch off from it. There is no off switch.
Aye. And I think a lot of especially the younger girls, looked up to you as sisters.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, especially.
The younger ones who maybe didn't have siblings or a sister, for example, if maybe only had older brothers or none at all. And I think a lot of them did look up to you as if the six of you, it's not just you personally.
Like, you want to be able to offer the correct advice and speak to them. And sometimes maybe just giving them a conversation is enough, and that's nice. I like to be able to do that. But if someone's asking me for like specific like advice, I'm like, it sends me into a meltdown, because I'm like, oh God, I don't know what to say. But if someone asks about like vocal technique and how do I learn to dance and things like that, like they're questions I know how to answer. But if there's some things, like, I've been asked various things and I'm out of my depth. That's just the truth of it all. I'm just out of my depth. And people do forget. I think people thought I was a bit of a robot at one point, and I was like, no, I actually am human. I'm doing 9 or 8 shows a week, but I need time off.
I know there needs to be that off switch, because for everybody in their job, because as much as, okay, you maybe have a slightly more fun job than other people you still need that switch. You still need that off time from it, and because you have a more physically challenging job, although it's
it
fun.
would have to like switch your mind off, and then I would try and take like time away from my phone and like social media. That was hard, because it would be like you'd put your phone down for 5 minutes and you'd come back to like over 100 messages, and I'd just literally be like, I don't know how to deal with this. I'm going to be up till 2 a.m. And yet again, I was, because it's also amazing, but our fans are all over the world, but in completely different time zones. So someone could be messaging you at what is their normal 5 o'clock, but 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning for you. And you don't ever want to be rude, but you're like, I have to go to bed now. Like, it's late.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly. Definitely, you need to know when to be nice to people and just say, like, no, go away, in the nicest possible way, in the nice way. So Claire asks, I think you've kind of answered this, but I'll ask it anyway, so that we've asked Claire's question.
Yeah, come on, Claire.
When you did the UK tour back in 2018, did you ever think it was going to be as big as it is now?
No, never.
I think you can answer that initially, but what about Toby and Lucy? What were they expecting out of it when they initially wrote it? Do you know?
I feel like they were like feeling the way us, like we were kind of like, it was all unraveling in front of you, obviously, because like everyone was working hard, but it kind of all happened. And then when you kind of like, if you ever had a chance that we did get to take a step back, it was like we couldn't believe what was happening. And even Toby and Lucy, they say like, how hilarious is it that we made a musical about Henry VIII's Six Wives of Pop concert? Like, how hilarious is that? And they've said that a million times. Like, Toby wrote the idea in English at Cambridge when he should have been listening to his lecture and not writing a musical. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just never even thought. So it's so nice to see all these amazing things happen for them as well, because like they didn't expect to even be going to Broadway, across the world, like writing. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously they always want to be writing new things, but they never knew that the first thing they would write would be literally become a global sensation. Like, and they are both like, what, 25?
They're certainly younger than me. That's definitely
25. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're just unreal, the pair of them, and their creative minds and the way they think and work. And they didn't have any clue either, and neither did we. And it's so nice that it became such a success.
Oh, it definitely is. It's British, and it is actually British. Like, British writers, British cast, British story. Everything about it screams Britain.
Yeah, and I love that, because how many British musicals can you think of? Like, I'm stumped and I'm supposed to be in this career. Do you know what I mean? Like,
there's two that I can think of recently that have opened, as yourself and Jamie. The two biggest. Jamie's the only other one that I can think of. And
it's like, I want, like, if anything going forward, I want to see more of that. I want to see more British theatre, more new musicals, more new things. I'm pretty sure after lockdown there's going to be a lot of new writing, and I can't.
Well, I think quite a few people will have done some writing, yes. But you've obviously got from the success of Six. I'm not saying because of Six has happened, but from the success of a British original, you've obviously got the likes of Anne Juliet opened. Which is British, and it's obviously it's not all British songs, but it's more of a jukebox musical, but it's still British. It's a British story. It's about Romeo and Juliet, which obviously is it's Shakespeare. But it's got the fandom as well. It's got the same sort of hype. It came from nowhere and suddenly has just.
And I love the fact that it was like a Tudor theme, not Tudor, but like it has like the ruffs and the corsets in the way, because obviously Grace went from Six into Anne Juliet, and she was sending us like her costumes and stuff, and she was just like, I've literally stepped out of one Tudor musical into another. I was like, you're never going to leave this period ever again now.
I'm trying to think, going to Upstart Crow or something like that next. I'm trying to think of other Tudor musicals. Not many out there though. Shannon, she asks, do you ever get recognised around Manchester when going about your day-to-day life?
No, I haven't spent that much time in Manchester, like after Six, if that makes sense. As in, like, yes, I live here, but I don't spend a lot of time here. I end up spending quite a lot of time in London. I used to be in London week in, week out. So if anywhere I was noticed, it was London. I have been noticed in Manchester once, and it was so uncanny because Nat had come to stay with me in December, because she'd been up to Manchester during the tour, but she'd never come and just like been to where I live and stuff. So she came up, and we dropped her off at Stockport Station, which is the station just after Manchester, because it's slightly closer to my house. So we dropped her off, and we sat there in the waiting room, and this girl, I could see her like over the corner of my shoulder, like going, and I was like, looking around thinking, what's going on? Like, I'd left Six by 2 months by this point. I'd not even done the show in Manchester, and I was like, what's going on here? And this girl came over, and she was like, Natalie? And I was like, and she was like, oh my God, Maiya! And I was like, oh my God, I've been noticed! And even Nat we were both like, I cannot believe that's just happened. Like, 8 o'clock on a Wednesday in Stockport. Like, who knew? Shout out to that girl and her mum, because that's never happened before, but it's happened in London quite a few times, but Manchester.
I can imagine it happening in London. I can see it happening in London, obviously, with the show being in London. But yeah, Manchester's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
That definitely. And also, just a side note, she loves you, and she's also from Manchester. So it could have been
there you go.
I know you've already answered the next question, but I thought I'd just ask it anyway.
Ask it anyway.
Tom Gribby has
Oh,
asked, will you
Gribby.
marry him?
I love Tom Gribby. I'll marry you, Gribby.
We've actually got his interview tomorrow. We're interviewing him tomorrow.
Oh, I love him. Tell him I love him.
I will pass that on, and I'll also pass your answer on to him as well.
And just ask when's the wedding.
Right, I'll ask that. I'll just take notes right now. Maiya asks when's the wedding. There we go. I will ask him tomorrow. So watch his video when it goes live.
Catch up and a brew. Him and Amy, I can't wait.
Oh, David, because he's currently staying with Amy, isn't he?
Yes, he is. That's how I met Gribby.
Right, through Amy.
Diverge. That's how I met him. Staying at Amy's house all the time last year, and then I just got really friendly with Gribby.
Because they're doing that. Are you taking part in the 24-hour marathon?
They're doing a 24-hour marathon.
Oh, have you not seen? They've just announced that today. Actually, it has just been announced today.
Okay, so I'm yet to go on Instagram.
So you might not have seen it. But this Saturday from 8 o'clock, I think, or so. It's from this Saturday to Sunday morning or Sunday sometime.
How wild them two.
They're doing 24 hours straight. I'm like, good on them.
Wild.
I'll need to quiz them on that tomorrow. That's definite. I'm like, why? What possessed you to do a 24-hour musical? Anyway, good on them. Tim, he asks, apart from I Don't Need Your Love, which obviously, as we know, was your solo in the show, what was your favourite solo?
Favourite show or song?
Solo. Favourite solo.
Ooh, it changed. I had a favourite song every week. I want to say, I think Currently Standing, No Way.
That's a good one, yeah.
I think currently right now, I think No Way is one of my favourites.
Yeah, No Way.
I really love them all, but I think No Way. I think it's a banger. It'll probably get you going, get your blood pumping. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. You've got to love I Don't Need Your Love, though. You've got to. That will always hold a special place in your heart.
That's like my number one. I Don't Need Your Love is like my number one. And maybe like No Way, and then join maybe Heart of Stone. It's so hard because I love them all because they're absolute bops. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah, the songs are just so catchy. That's like one of the annoying bits. You go in and you love the musical, but you literally, it's one of these musicals you go out and you maybe haven't seen it. So like when my mum saw it, she hadn't seen it. She saw it in Glasgow on the tour, and she'd never seen it. And she come out and she literally says, "You're singing the songs." She says, all originals, but for the first time you're singing the songs.
It's so catchy. It's so catchy.
Definitely. I've seen it a few times, and obviously I now know the songs off the hat. I'm not a crazy Six fan, so you don't have to worry. I'm quite a calm Six fan. But having seen all the songs, or seen the show, sorry, the songs obviously are now embedded, but the first time it was you're literally coming out of an original musical singing the songs.
Everyone comes out like no matter what when we were in the arts theatre, because they always used to play the soundtrack like when we used to go back into the foyer, and everyone would always be singing Don't Lose Your Head. Always. I think that is the catchiest one.
Yeah.
Or Get Down, but everyone would always sing Don't Lose Your Head. Always.
Yeah, I think the only thing I find is there's obviously some lyrics that aren't child friendly.
Yes.
In the show. It's not the most PG musical.
But you know what happens? The kids love it because it literally goes like this.
Yeah. Oh, it does. That's what I was about to say, that the kids don't mind and the adults don't mind because it goes like that.
Yeah, and in the show as well, watching it, we sometimes act out, say the innuendo, not all the time, but like if there's like a certain innuendo, we will do it. But it completely, like, you watch the kids in the audience, the parents are absolutely dying, crying, laughing, looking at the kids, and the kids are just there like, sorry, not sorry, but like they do not like even, it just goes completely over their heads, and it's brilliant to watch because just like just loving it.
Okay, and they just like the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Annika, she asks, who were the people that inspired you to pursue theatre? So was there anybody in particular?
I think that's been like over the years, if that makes sense. So like Kerry Ellis was one of the first people who made me go like, God, I really want to do that. So when I met her at the Six Press Night, can you imagine how much I fangirled?
Was that the first time you'd actually met her?
Like actually met her, but you can imagine like 8 years previous or No, yeah, 8 years previous, I'd watched her, and now she's watching me. Honestly, my mind blew. And then I did a gig in Leeds not that long ago last year, and she came in and she was like, "Oh my God, Maiya!" And I was like,
she's here to see me.
and I was like, "Can I have a picture?" Like, I was so like fangirling.
Fangirl.
Of course. And then Cynthia Erivo, of course, is just, she is like one of my biggest inspirations, like ever. I'm like, I think she's incredible. My mum is one, even though she doesn't do musicals at all, really. Other than the ones I go, "Mum, listen to this." Like, she absolutely loves Dessa Rose. So we like that together. But she's another one of my inspirations. Who else? Oh, now I'm thinking. But definitely Kerry and Cynthia, 100%. But then, like, Rachel Tucker. Like, I used to listen to Rachel do Wicked all the time. Like, Defying Gravity was an absolute jam when I was younger. And then when I met her and then sang with her, can you imagine how much I died? Louise Dale, there's another one. Louise, I think she's absolutely unreal.
There's a kind of trend coming here. Kerry Ellis, Louise Stearman, Rachel Tucker. There's a certain musical that's, is that one hold a place in your heart by any chance?
But can you imagine, I didn't see Wicked until I was 18 years old. So, like, I'd never seen it.
So that was what, just last year?
You're funny. My best friend took me for my 18th birthday and I sat on the front row crying my eyes out.
That is quite emotional, I've got to say. I love
Wicked.
Wicked.
It was Jacqueline Hughes who played Elphaba when I went to see it. She was, at the time, I think, standby.
I was about to say she was understudy for quite a while.
And I was blown away. And also, she was she went to GSA, and I think I was like 3 days off getting to GSA, so I'd been auditioning, and obviously I got the program and saw she went to GSA, and then she opened her mouth, and I was like,
wow.
I was shocked. I was like, oh my God. So obviously made me want to go there even more. So yeah, everything just kind of nice fell into place.
Great.
There's one musical now there's a trend, isn't there? I see it.
Yeah, definitely see there's a sort of trend there. Yeah. Certainly from the names you've mentioned anyway, there's definitely a trend.
Yeah.
Just a small one. Again, a bit like Six, it's a small trend.
Yeah, tiny.
Someone asks, obviously, they've asked to remain anonymous. Don't know why, but they've asked to remain anonymous. How do you succeed in the acting industry? And how do you get more confident in acting and singing skills? So it's kind of 2-pointer there.
Oh God, right. What was the first one?
So the first bit was, how do you succeed in the acting industry?
Wow. Okay. That is so. The only reason I say that's a hard one to answer is because I was lucky in the sense that, like, I went to drama school, and your third year is catered towards getting you into the industry, like getting you seen by people and stuff. So, not saying it's impossible if you don't go to drama school. Like, you can still write to people. That's a really good thing. Like, just honestly, everyone is on Google, on the internet, on Twitter, on Instagram. You can write a list of London-based casting directors or Manchester-based casting directors or UK-based casting directors and write to them, send them a self-tape, send them a monologue, get your name out there, because I still have to do that as well. Even though I've been in Six, you still have to write to people and let people know you're there, basically, because not everybody in the world, believe it or not, hasn't seen Six. Do you know what I mean? So
have they not?
Yeah, really? Yeah, so like they've heard of it, but they might not have seen it, so that you have to introduce yourself. So I think it's a matter of just making sure you get on people's radar. I think that's a big way to succeed. Is sometimes it's, as annoying as it is, it's not always what you can do, it's who you know. And a bit of nepotism never hurts. That's what I've always been told, is if like someone can help you and they're willing to help you, like take it. Like if someone says like, oh, I know this person, do you want to meet them? Say yes, because you never know what meeting that person, do you know what I mean? Like, it's all that you really, really have to connect and network with people. That's how I say that's the best way to not succeed, but the best way to get out there. Because if you succeed in the sense, then you've got nothing more to strive for. Do you get what I'm saying? So you always want to be better in yourself, and always being out there and learning and striving for more, rather than just being like content where you are. Do you know what I mean? So that's probably like a really roundabout way of answering that question.
I think it was a good way to answer it, though. I think can I explained it a bit more than than just answering, oh, you do this, or you can never succeed, or whatever. It's a good way of putting it.
You just have to make sure you make that not the right, because sometimes that's not even right either, because I can't say that all the decisions I've made have been completely correct, but I never regret the decisions I've made up until this point, because it's got me to where I am.
Yeah.
So I'd always say, like, if you want to do something, go and do it, because you never know where that's going to take you, where that's going to lead you, what path that's going to, it might not be the one you ultimately want to go down straight away, but it might get you there in some roundabout way.
Yeah.
There's no one way to succeed in this industry, because everybody's story is different. Like, none of us, no one I know, none of my friends or anyone in the industry, we've not had the same success story. None of us. So it's whichever way you take it and whichever way you go down this.
Well, I'm sure if you're being honest, you know, when you were at GSA, I don't think Catherine Parr ever come into your mind.
Never.
As an option. Like, Catherine Parr would never, because obviously Six didn't exist.
Exactly. I didn't. When I was at GSA, I just absolutely loved my training and just did everything that I could in the moment, and was just trying to be very present and make sure that I take everything up. Like, one of our dance teachers, Rachel Kerridge, used to say, wait, let me get this right. Be a sponge in a bubble on a pathway. And that was the thing. It was taking every single bit of knowledge that you can take from us, be in your own little bubble and be on your own path. But like, don't let anybody else's bubble on their pathway distract you from you on your pathway, because it's your journey will be completely different. And she said that within like the first week, and it stays with you like throughout, even till now. Just be a sponge, be in a bubble, and be on your own pathway. And she always said that. So shout out Rachel Kerridge.
That's a very good, very good thing to say. That actually, that's a good metaphor. And the second part of that question was, how do you get more confident in acting and singing skills?
Well, that's just practice. That is just practice. You just have to keep at it. And if you can get a singing teacher, that also helps as well, because if you're more confident in your voice, you'll be more confident in your acting skills. And that literally does just come with practice. Like, you don't wake up one day, start singing, and be completely incredible at acting and singing straight away. You have to work at it, you have to practice that, you have to sing these.
Do you know that?
Pardon?
Do you know, is that why I've not woke up and I'm just fantastic?
You are fantastic, you know.
Acting and singing, I'm definitely not.
you just have to practice. It's just a matter of, like, we got told at college to stand in front of the mirror and sing, and look at the way your face moves and look what you do with your arms, and don't be so, like, obviously don't be extremely conscious of it, because you want things to be impulsive, because that's a part of acting. You want it to be natural. So don't pre-plan. I say I wouldn't obviously go in, if say you choose a song, say Get Out and Stay Out, look at the emotional arc of the song, look where it goes, don't be giving it emotion 3 at the beginning when that's not what it requires. It might require you to be this way, and then don't be giving it minimalistic acting when it gets to the huge bit at the end. You know, you just need to look at the emotional arc of where the song takes you, what it requires with your vocal quality. Do you know what I mean? Like, those sorts of things. Obviously not to be too technical, but just look at where the journey of the song goes, and then that will help you through your acting and through how you convey it with your voice, because ultimately, like, obviously we only sing because when words aren't enough. So just think of it that way.
That's a good way of looking at it, yes. Definitely, that's a good
way.
I'm sure it will, yes. Victor, he asks, what is your dream role in TV, movies, theatre? What's your dream role? Do you have anything?
Oh, that's really hard. I'd love to be in like a BBC or an ITV drama. No idea what character, but I just think that'd be great. I just think BBC and ITV are great. Like, I love anything they bring out, you know, like The Killing Eve, and I've not watched it yet, so no spoilers. Like Killing Eve, or I watched, what was it that I watched ages ago and I absolutely loved it? Oh, I can't remember it, but it was set in Russia. It's based off,
oh yeah,
the Great Comet of 1812. What is that?
No,
I can't remember. But that series as well was amazing, because Lily James was in that. That was incredible, and that was a BBC. And like, so maybe like a drama or like a period piece or something like that. I think that'd be really cool.
Something about Catherine Parr.
Pardon?
Something about Catherine Parr.
Oh yeah, why not? Yeah,
play it
properly. Like that. Like, I've still yet to watch that series, but I've heard it's incredible.
Yeah, it was very good, actually.
Like that, or like if I was in a film, I'd love to do an action film. I would love to do an action film. If they bring out any more Star Wars, I want to be in it, because I've just finished watching all the Star Wars and I absolutely love it. So I want to be in Star Wars.
I'm sure Disney will be bringing in, I think they are planning on bringing out more. What's happening at the moment, I don't know, but
so any I think action film, like I'd love to be in an action film. Just to give it really cool, like a Marvel film or something like that. Yeah, I don't know if it's a TV film, because obviously the possibilities are endless, because obviously people are always writing new things. So yeah, anything, I'd love it. And then musicals. Ooh, I think
you don't have to think of that just now, because we do touch that on that at the end.
I'll touch that after.
We do touch on that at the end, so you can have a think about that and you can come back to it.
Yeah.
Simon, he asks, he kind of touches on a thing that made the news a bit when you were in 6.
Okay.
Did you expect your holiday last July to hit the news the way it did?
My holiday last July?
Yes, when a certain Toby stepped in.
Oh, so I'm going to explain that whole situation. So I already had a pre-planned NA. I was singing at a wedding and had a pre-planned NA. So I was due to be away anyway, regardless of anything that happened at 6 that weekend. It just happened that the weekend I went away, we were down about 6 people. We didn't have enough to run the show. There was illness, there was absences, and the only way to keep the show going, because we had a show cancelled two weeks previous, I think that Sunday 2 weeks before, because I was ill, Nat was ill, Amy was off, I think Millie was still going, bless her, but she was on her way out. Lexi had I think she had an eye infection, bless her, so she was off. JJ was struggling, Grace was dying. I think we had to bring Colette in that week. Like it was just mental. Like Vicky had to step in for Lexi, and Courtney was on for me, but then couldn't be because she hurt a knee. Like, it was honestly just mental. So you can imagine we had that week, and we had a week in between, and the last week of that was when, like, literally I was going away anyway, but everybody was just on the way out. Like, everyone was just shattered by that point, and it just wasn't possible to do the show. So they just were like, how are we going to save this? And Toby just stepped up to the mark, and I so wish I was there to see it. I so wish I was there to see it.
Yeah, I've got to say, I was
seeing loads of messages like, oh my God, are you all right? Like, what's happened? I was like, guys, I'm by a pool drinking a pina colada. I am fine. I don't know what is going on at 6 right now.
I don't really care at the moment.
Because everyone was like, oh my God, is she okay? I was like, guys, I am fine. Toby will be a fantastic part.
Yes, we knew you were on holiday. That's why we said, did you expect your holiday to hit the news quite as much?
Didn't. I really didn't.
But I think I would have loved to have been there that night. I've got to say, I think we need to have one that he does it, just sort of like pre-announced rather than at last minute. I think
Toby, when I got back, sent me a picture that someone had edited of my body but his face, and he was like, happy day, and I was absolutely crying.
I can imagine, yes. I can imagine. So Joanne wants to know, where does taking the phone come from? How did that start? So at the end, just to explain to the people at home.
I think that was one of the producers, Kenny, who said, if people are within range, because they introduced it on tour, and obviously when we were on tour, it was depending on where we were, depending on how far away the audience was. So if they were too far away, we couldn't do it. I can't even remember where that happened now. I genuinely can't remember. I think it was after Edinburgh that I got introduced. I think that was the West End, because that's when they said you can start filming after the Edinburgh Fringe. So at the West End, that's when that came in. And then I think they said, oh, just take the phone, like take someone's phone in the front row. And it wasn't a thing I was like, oh, I'm just going to take someone's phone, do you know what I mean? Because some people look at you like, oh, no, like, that's my phone. Like, so I think it was Kenny, and then I think Lucy said about it as well in one of the rehearsals. Yeah, I think that's how it came about, and then it just blew up into...
I think it's in a competition.
Yeah, it is, of like whose phone gets taken.
It was always you, wasn't it? It was always Catherine Parr that took it.
Catherine Parr who always takes the phone.
Yeah, because you're technically the only one alive.
So I think Millie take one? I think there was one show. It was like one of like the towards the end shows, I think, where I think we all took a phone. But I can't remember when that was. But I feel like that could happen.
But it usually always was Catherine Parr.
It's always Catherine Parr.
Yeah, it took it. So that's good to know where that came from, because you watch it and you think, oh, because obviously there's not many shows for a start that allow you to film.
Yeah.
For a start, and then obviously you did, or not you personally, but Six allowed it.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's certainly no shows that take your phone up on stage. I'm like, oh, unless you go up with it, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
First time I saw it, so let's just take that phone. What's happening? And then obviously you guys.
Now people like throw them at you like me.
I take it, catch. I'll make you leave now. Go. But no, that's good. Always good to know where it came from, the idea. I thought it was maybe just something that happened one day and it was kind of stuck.
No, there's no glamorous story. I genuinely think it was Kenny who just said. I think if that's me thinking correctly, unless I did just one day decide to grab someone's phone, but I don't think that happened. I'm pretty sure it was Kenny.
So said, obviously, when Six allowed it to film,
taking someone's phone and like taking it on stage. I think that's what happened. Maybe
it just was the producers that said to you that
that was a thing. Yeah, I can't remember.
That's good. Always good to know.
Because I think the only place that you can't film across the globe now is the Broadway cast. So I don't know the exact reason. I have some American friends who said that they've seen it, and they said I think it's something to do with the theatre. There's like a licensing rule or something.
Right. Yeah.
We don't have over here where we're able to film live theatre, but they're strictly not allowed. I don't know whether it's something they can completely enforce, as in the sense that like you're not allowed your phone on or to distract over, but I don't think it's the actual act of filming. Obviously, it's expected because you're allowed to do it everywhere else, but you're just not allowed to do it on Broadway. But maybe that's something they'll try and sort out. But I don't know. But I just know that you're not allowed to film it.
But Broadway it had just kicked off, didn't it?
It's only just open. Bless them, they didn't even get to have their opening night because Broadway went dark the night of their opening night, which I just think is so cruel. I think they were an hour, 2 hours off their opening night. Could you have not just let them do it?
For all the time, for all the damage they would have done in that.
Yeah, like they weren't even that far off.
Out on a bet.
To open, and then they just were told maybe an hour before the show that they couldn't do it, and I just think that's absolutely gutting. That is just heartbreaking. My heart went out to them when I heard that.
Right. So next up we've got Lily. Lily has asked a few questions.
Okay.
As a few of the girls have. We'll kind of rattle through them. So Lily asks, her first question was, what's it like living with the other girls for 6 months?
Amazing. So much fun. That is all I can describe. It's just so much fun.
I can imagine 6 girls in one house, yes, and certainly when you work and live together, it'll be
we had the best time. We didn't all the only time not all of us, but we lived in pockets was at the Edinburgh Fringe, and then when we were in London, I lived with Grace. But obviously, I knew Grace before anyway, so me and Grace stayed everywhere together, other than Manchester when I stayed at home. But unfortunately, I was really poorly in Manchester, so I stayed at home. Like I was too ill to do the show, so Grace and Millie stayed together. But everywhere else, me and Grace stayed together. I think Amy and Nat stayed together in some places. JJ, I think, mainly stayed in her own. I think some people just enjoy having like their own bed, whereas me and Grace were like joined onto each other, like no, I'm like
no, we'll just keep me here.
Yeah, but it was so much fun. We had such a laugh on tour.
Yeah, I think she kind of touches on Grace a bit there. So what was it like studying with Grace and working with her?
Amazing.
Yeah, I think
because it was like a home comfort in the sense that like I've been with her for 3 years already, and then getting an extra 2 with her was lovely because like we were so close to GSA, so just to continue that afterwards was just lovely.
Yeah, I can imagine. She also asks, do you have any tattoos?
I do. I have. Shall I show them you all?
If you can, if they're possible to show.
Oh yeah, I can show. No explicit places. I have the crown. The six.
Brilliant. Yes.
Can you see it a bit? Me and JJ have this matching, but not intentionally matching. We just both have it on the same arm. So this is my crown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have, I don't know how I'm going to show you this. This is hilarious. I have a B on my ankle.
Oh, for Manchester.
For Manchester. And then I have my nana's initials and my granddad's initials on my arm. If you can see, that's an L.
Yeah, I can see that. That's lovely.
That's in my nana's handwriting.
Oh,
So yeah,
lovely.
that's all my tattoos.
Lovely. There we go. That answers the second part of that one. And lastly, what advice would you give to a student who has nothing to do at this time?
Oh God.
Or any other time?
Do you want to tell me what to do at this time?
I think it's a kind of. I don't think I don't think she just means literally right this second, but kind of just when you have nothing to do, what could you do?
Yeah, well, at the minute, there's loads of like people doing classes and like speeches and going on Zooms and doing like loads of things like that. So definitely get in on them, like 100%. Like collected a warm up this morning at 10:30, like those kind of things. Like get on those things. Like one of my really good friends and teachers, Jo McShane, she's doing dance classes in a week. She was my tap teacher at GSA, and she's doing like tap, jazz. I think she's in a ballet or a technique class. And then another one of my teachers, when I was in first year, Jackie Jameson, she does a warm up or a dance class every day at 10:30 or 10 o'clock. I think it's live on Instagram. So like definitely like they're out there. So 100% go and do them. Spotify is another one. Listen to everything on Spotify.
I do anyway.
Anything and everything on Spotify. I just love Spotify. That's another thing I'd be doing as well. If you wanted to be like building your rep, looking online for things, songs, monologues, because monologues sometimes are few and far between to find. So if you can find a good one, hold on to it like Stardust and Gold Dust, because sometimes they're really hard to find. Go on nice walks. Sometimes it's just nice to stop everything and like no matter, even if you are a student in musical theatre, sometimes it's just nice to slow down and stop and go breathe in some air and look at some clouds and look at sunset if you can. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And sometimes just experience life outside of what you're training in during this time as well, because.
So you mean to say there is life outside musicals?
Oh my God.
Is there?
Yes, of course. Yeah, like, so just find, I say, I need to listen to my own advice, because just find something else outside of your work, because we're probably, I don't want this time again, and all the sadness and distraught and everything it's brought along with it. But as a positive side of it, like, you probably never get this time again, so use it how you would like to use it. If you want to rest during this time, if you want to go and do an online course, do an online course. If you want to do online dances, do on that. Do you know what I mean? Like, these people doing singing lessons out there, jump on singing lessons. Do you know what I mean? Like, just little things like that, just to keep things ticking and just make yourself feel alive.
That's why I've started West End Talks.
Yeah.
It was a thing definitely that I wanted to start anyway, but I think this time has kind of pushed me into doing it.
A bit more of right, okay, let's do this now.
I kick up the bum.
And you got to be grateful for this time. And it's obviously as catastrophic as it's been on many, many people, the amount of good things that have come out of this process as well, like, has been amazing. So
yeah,
I'll follow for that.
Definitely. So just before we forget, Lily has asked, if you were to go back to 6, would you go back to the West End or tour, and with which cast?
I'd go back to the West End with my girls.
With the original, yeah. That's a good answer.
Yeah,
that's a good answer. So would you go back, like, if you were asked?
Like, it just depends.
I know you went back to Manchester for a day or so when they were on tour.
Yeah, it just depends, because like 6 was such a big part of my life for so long that I have to do something else. You don't stay in one thing forever in this career. You just don't. And until people get in it and understand that side of it, they just get angry or get upset or don't understand why you leave. And I'm not leaving because I don't love it. I'm leaving because it's my time to leave. I was in it for 16 months.
That's a long time.
So much in 16 months. So you have to go out and find something else and do other things and build that CV.
Definitely. 100%.
Yeah, but it also makes you grow as a person, finding new things and working with new people and having the opportunity to work with loads of different people, because that's what this industry is about. It's about meeting people, and you're never going to meet people if you stay in one musical for the rest of your life. And there's 100%. Nothing wrong with that, because people obviously come and go in one singular musical. Cash change and things like that, and some people stay on and some people don't. But the opportunity to meet people grows when you. I basically cut my apron strings from the show, and as much as it hurt, because I absolutely love the show and I love my friends and I love everyone in that building. I had to do it to grow for myself.
They all decided that. The six of you decided that because obviously Millie, Amy, Natalie, they've all moved on. You know what I mean? You've all moved on to other things. I don't think any of the six of you are still there, are they?
No, the only ones that are still there is Lexi, JJ, and Nat. But they stayed for different reasons, and we left for different reasons. You know what I mean? Like I said, as much as it hurt to leave, like I said, you have to leave to grow. You know, we personally felt like we weren't gonna grow anymore. So it's our time to go, and that's completely fine. And I absolutely love the show. So say if they needed me to come back and stand in, then I probably would. But I don't think
you've all moved on to bigger and better things as well.
And I wouldn't like to say like return and be in it for like a long standing, because there's so many more opportunities out there, and I'm already Catherine Parr Maiya from 6. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
So
you want to
find some things new.
Yes, I mean, we'll come to that shortly. Your next announced gig, obviously there's things behind that, but we'll come to it and we'll get to it. Some more questions about 6, unfortunately, as it was which is one of the reasons why you're here.
Yeah.
Emma asks, she's looking to start auditioning in the next year. Have you any tips about auditioning and keeping your voice healthy?
Ooh, auditioning. Ooh, I hated auditioning, just putting it out there. Still hate auditioning. It's the fear to my core, and I feel like it's never going to get better, but it probably will. But I'd say number one and rule number one, never compare yourself to the other people in that room, as in like people in the corridor, if you're auditioning with people in that room, if you're doing a dance call, if you're doing like a group singing, or which I don't really think happens, but if just don't compare yourself to people before you even step into the room, because you don't know they don't know what you have to offer compared to the girl sat next to you, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So never compare yourself, because I spent far too long doing that, and you waste far too much energy doing it, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It doesn't get you anywhere. It's wasted energy. So definitely don't compare yourself. Healthy voice. One thing I'd say about this is I do get this question a lot, and what you have to do is find a routine that works for you, because everyone's voice is different, and like I say, everyone's instrument is different. So what might work for me in order to take care of my voice probably might be a bit OTT for somebody else's voice, because I might not have as a robust voice as somebody else. So you just have to find a routine that's good for you. So if you find that this certain warm-up helps, bank that in your and put that in your memory bank. Put that in your little bank. If you find that steaming helps, be like, right, okay, so I know when I feel slightly tired, I'm going to steam.
Yeah.
Vocal lozenges and things like that don't really help. In all honesty, the only thing they do is make you salivate and obviously keep you swallowing. They don't really help your voice. Sanderson's another one that I find is good, is that if you ever have a hoarse voice or a sore voice, or your voice is extremely tired, gargling that is very good. But that's like medicinal. And that's not something you use all the time. Like it even says on the back, like don't use it for 7 days consistently, because the thing tastes like paint stripper. So I wouldn't recommend that.
Wouldn't recommend it, no.
Yeah. Hermiting was another one that was good when I was auditioning, because being a hermit is in the sense of like you keep quiet, you don't speak when you don't need to, and you just rest. Basically, you just rest. Vocal massage is another one, but you can't always get a vocal massage, and it's not always financially. Sometimes it can be really expensive. So, but I found that they really help. So if you ever wanted to go for one of them, it's just finding a little routine that works for you, if that makes sense. So like, I can give you a list of things, however, they might not work for you because it's what works for my voice. So it's just a matter of, through this process of audition, if you find that singing this song over and over and over again is going to end up straining your voice, and then what are you going to do to help your voice in that situation? Are you going to hermit for a bit? Are you going to steam? Also, the thing about steam is if you are going to steam, make sure you either do it before bed and don't speak for an hour, or if you do it in the morning, don't leave the house for like a good 3 hours afterwards, because basically you open up all your pores and everything, and if you go straight outside into cold atmosphere, it goes like that. It's not good.
It's not helpful.
it's not helpful. And also make sure your steamer's not too hot and things like that. But you don't always have to have like a steamer. You can just do it with like a hot water and a bowl and a towel. Just don't burn yourself. Things like that, just like keeping your voice quiet, making sure you're cooling down is another one that I find really good. Just like a 10-minute cool down after I've been singing, but also make sure I warm up as well. But then, as I say, there's things that work for me that not might work for other people, because I've got friends that don't cool down but can sing 8 shows a week. But if I don't cool down, I can't do 8 a week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
So it is a really hard question to answer, but it's just a matter of like finding finding a warm up that's good for you, maybe find a cool down that's good for you. And if the cool down doesn't work, then finding like what else is good for you. If you do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like exercise. It's everybody's body's different.
Yeah.
So you just find what works for you, but there's loads of options. But I think that really helps, and I'm sure that will help.
If not, message me. I'll try.
I'm sure she will. But Alice is asking a slightly controversial question. We always like a bit of controversy. She asks, what would you say to those people that say Six isn't a musical?
Do people say that?
Well, yes, and I can slightly understand, because it's more of a rock concert or a pop concert with a story.
Yeah, see, it
like,
is.
It's not a traditional musical.
No.
Where there's 2 acts, it's a full story, and there's songs for reasons. Whereas with Six, it's brilliant, and it is a musical. I would say it's a musical, but there are people out there that say it's not a musical. That's
really interesting, because I've never heard anyone say it's not a musical, so that's really interesting to hear. But I do understand in the sense that you say that it's a pop concert, because it is.
Yeah, it's a pop concert with a story.
The reason I think it's classed more as a musical is because it does have dialogue and it has a story, whereas if you go to a pop concert, there's not necessarily a story.
No. Oh, I can understand that, yes, but I think people look at it as in it's not a traditional musical.
Yeah, no.
Like Les Mis or even Jamie, even down to Jamie.
Yeah, I can understand that. But in the sense that, but then again, Come From Away is a one-act musical.
But it still has, yeah. You know, I can understand. Yeah, you're preaching to the, yeah.
Actually, not as in like that's wrong, but I'm questioning as in like I've never heard that statement before. Yeah. But that is really interesting. That's really interesting.
It's good to know. I didn't know. I thought you would have heard that. Like,
no, I actually haven't. I've just heard people. It's Six, the musical. I've never heard someone say. But
I don't think Alice agrees with you either. I think she agrees that it is a musical. She's just asking what you would say.
Really, this really got me stumped. That has really got me stumped, because it's a pop concert setting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really.
It's good to know. That's interesting. Robbie, who's currently working backstage, he wants to know, where does your Queenspiration come from for Catherine Parr?
Well, my Queenspiration was Alicia Keys. And it was, I think the one was Emily Sandé, but it was definitely 100% Alicia Keys.
Like a bit of Emily Sandé, got to say, you know, stick for the Scottish.
Yeah, I absolutely love Emily Sandé, but it was definitely Alicia Keys. She was like the number one Queenspiration for Catherine Parr.
I can see that. I can understand that, yes.
Yeah, can you see it? For people, I look like Alicia Keys, and obviously that is a huge compliment.
You do that, I've got to say, yes. Yeah, I've got to say you do a wee bit, yeah.
I just can't play the piano, so maybe I should start, tinkling the ivories. Maybe I should start.
You've got time at the moment, so why not? There's lots of online courses. You just said that to somebody else. Slow down and take a lesson. Molly wants to know, what was it like being in the biggest female empowerment musical?
Unreal. And I remember people saying to me, and like us girls, like, is it not like really like, sorry, censored word, but is it like bitchy? But no, not at all. Like, at all. It ended up being like, like your sisters, and if like your sisters irritate you, you just tell them to go away, and then 5 minutes later you're kissing and make up. Like, it was like that. It was never, ever, ever a horrible atmosphere, ever.
Oh, that's good to know then. That's
like within us girls, we were all so close. You know what I mean? It was never, it was just amazing, and it was just on a constant women uplifting women, always. It was hard to have a bad day in that building with those girls, regardless of what was going on outside of that building, you couldn't bring it into the building because it was just such a joy being with them. I can't even explain it. Like, you'd walk in, even if you had a really horrible day, you'd come in and within 5 minutes you'd be wetting yourself because they're just absolutely hilarious. Like, and you'd forget everything that'd been going on within the day. It was just an absolute joy. It really was.
To be honest with Maiya O'Connell in the room, you can't help it.
Oh, she's
hilarious.
She's always making me corpse. Always. She always makes me laugh.
I can understand that one. The rest of the girls are funny as well, but I saw Melly quite a few times in Soho Cinders when she was in the Chancro, and she is an absolute scream. Like, her comedy timing is just second to none, I've got to say.
Too much. She actually, like, and she would do things on stage on purpose to purposely make us laugh, and she'd know she'd make us laugh. Oh, she used to do it all the time. All the time. Honestly, wetting ourselves, and because we couldn't communicate because we had in it, so we couldn't even like say anything or really hear anything. It was just like, oh, there was just so many times she just made me absolutely wee myself on stage.
You walk off stage and go, see you, you're in trouble.
We all could have got in so much trouble because we were half the time just absolutely wetting ourselves like we would. Oh, we're so naughty.
I can imagine, yes. Yeah, so that kind of brings us to the end of the 6th section. You'll be glad to know. Move on to the slightly... Oh, I've got some pictures of you, just in case anybody hasn't seen. Wait till we figure this one out. So this is you lot here.
Oh my gosh.
I think this is one of the first ones that was taken in the arts.
No, this wasn't even the arts. This was...
Is that not the arts?
No, because I had a different costume by the time we got to the arts.
Oh, so I've just seen that, yes, so you were.
All of like the footage, like the EPK and all of the photos are from when I had the original costume, and then we had a week off in between going to Edinburgh, and my complete costume, my arms and my trousers got changed, so that's my old costume.
So that's you obviously here, Catherine Parr. You were the only one that was survived by the end of it. Yes. Technically, if you know your history. You've got Catherine of Aragon.
Yeah, JJ, Catherine of Aragon.
Yeah, Catherine of Aragon. You've got Catherine Howard in the front here, Amy Atkinson.
Yeah.
There's Millie in the back with her face that always has a scream. She played Anne Boleyn. Probably one of the most well-known of the 6. Not as in Millie O'Connell, as in Anne Boleyn.
Anne Boleyn is the most like well-known queen, 100%.
Yeah, she's probably one of the most well-known from Henry VIII, 6 Wives. You never get that right.
No.
You've got Anna Cleves. No.
Oh, no.
No, you've got Jane Seymour in the front, sorry, and Anna Cleves in the back.
Not in Lexington.
So that's one of them. And then we've got one of Just Yourself back at West End Live last year.
Yeah, oh.
What was that like?
That was so much fun. I was
front row.
Boiling. I was absolutely sweating, but it was amazing. It was like, oh yeah, it was so nice because we'd done it the year before, obviously before 6 became a big thing, and then doing it the year later, and literally people like crying and screaming for you was just like, because the year before we didn't even have costumes, like no one knew who we were. We were literally the show. All of us were not known, and then the next year, we were so well known, and so was the show. It was immense. It was immense.
Yeah, I was there last year, front row. I stupidly camped out the whole weekend in Trafalgar Square. That's not just for 6, just for the whole West End Live, but that's a different story. And I remember, I think, who was on just before you? Was it Les Mis?
I
can't remember. On the Saturday I'm talking about here, obviously you were on both days.
I was on the Sunday, I wasn't on the Saturday.
Oh, you weren't on the Saturday, right.
It was Thriller before us?
It was, yeah, on the Sunday it probably was Thriller, because that's one of the only West End musicals that are on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Most of them are on, because you was running on a Sunday, you and Thriller running a Sunday. So the cast were there, whereas most musicals are off on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Which obviously helped with 6, because is that one of the reasons why you chose a Sunday, or was that just pure coincidence?
No, it was just because it was the weekend, as in like we did the Saturday the year before, and then that weekend we just happened to do the Saturday and the Sunday.
Oh no, sorry, I was talking in general with the Arts Theatre. Sorry, with the Sunday shows, because obviously not a lot of musicals do a Sunday.
Oh,
I know. Is that why it was chosen?
Like I didn't even know that was going to be a thing until we came back into the West End.
Right.
So Monday was our day off. because on tour we didn't always do a Sunday show, but we did always have Mondays off because Monday was the travel day. But sometimes we just did Tuesday to Saturday and had Sunday, Monday off. And then sometimes we did one show on a Saturday, but when we got to the Arts, it was a 5-show weekend, which is killer.
I can imagine, yes.
It's killer.
I can imagine. Five shows in one weekend. Yes, I can imagine. So that was you. And then that's it for 6. But then moving smoothly on, we come to Casey's. Now, this is obviously the poster or the picture that was put out. It first premiered back in London in 2017 at the Phoenix Arts Club. It was back then co-produced by Michael from Calabro. I'm assuming is that not correct now, or you don't know?
I don't think that's true.
No, it was back then. Back in 2017, he kind of brought it to the forefront.
I don't know who's the producer. I think Dominic is now producing it as well as directing it, and Anthony was co-directing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I want to say, unless he was co-producing it too, but I'm pretty sure he was directing it as well, I think.
Right. So obviously it was supposed to run back in April this year. It was a 3-week run back in the other palace. And it looked interesting. I didn't, be truthful, don't know anything about it. I haven't heard any of the songs or anything, but it's not a big musical. But again, it's a bit like Six.
Yeah, it's just another little musical. I say little, it's not little. But like just another new musical. And yeah, it was more like character, like bases in like it was. I want to use the word song cycle, but not song cycle because it's a musical. But as far as the musical was going ahead, we didn't know whether there was going to be dialogue because that was something we were going to, like, whether we were going to put it in or not. But like, for example, my character, Sophia, it was just a series of songs that all not linked, but like if you follow her story, you follow it through her songs, but they're not back after back. It'd be like, I'd have one song and then like Victoria, who Sabrina was playing, would have a song.
Yeah. And
then Andrew would have, and then my song, and then I'd have another song, and then Adrian would sing. Do you know what I mean? To follow my story, you'd follow my song.
Yeah.
And the only time they ever all tie is when it's like comes like Cases or like the other ensemble songs, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm. That sounds interesting. Definitely. So you played Sophia, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sophia, yeah. So hopefully you'll still be able to put it on. Hopefully it'll still come.
I really hope so, because the music is honestly like the most beautiful music I've ever heard.
I was looking forward to it. Definitely, I was looking forward to coming to see it because again, a bit similar to Six. It was completely new. It's British, isn't it?
Yeah. Dom's British.
So definitely, hopefully we'll get to put it on. Obviously, we don't want to talk too much because we don't want to spoil it. Because obviously Six has been out for a long time, so people know the story. But with Casey's, not many people know the story to that, so we don't really want to spoil it too much.
Yeah, that's not
for them.
Surprise.
Yeah, I'll keep the main bits to a surprise, but hopefully we'll get to put it on at some point in the near future. Touch wood. So that kind of brings us towards the end of our little chat today. We've got just our what I like to call our West End Talks quickfire round. You don't have to worry about it. I'm not looking for quickfire answers, so you don't need to worry about that. But the first question in it: what would your dream musical theatre role be?
Thinking about it now, gosh, I would love to be. I'd love to be Dorothy in The Wiz.
Oh, and The Wiz.
In The Wiz.
Not The Wizard of Oz.
Not The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, no, that's a different one. Oh.
And it's like never done. I don't even think it's ever been done in the UK.
I don't think it's certainly not professionally like in the West End. I don't think it's certainly never been done there.
Fingers crossed.
The only one I can think of is the film version.
Yeah, the film, and then it was done, I think, on Broadway, and then it was. I think they did it in Chicago as well, and they did that. You know, like Jennifer Hudson was in it, and they did like like a Grease live thing. They did like the Wiz live.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, yeah, and it was
Well,
streamed.
maybe that'll come to YouTube.
Fingers crossed.
Get you to do it in the West End. There we go. Angela Weber, if you're watching. Mia's here. Dorothy for the whiz. What would your dream gender bend role be?
Okay, so I answered this the other day, and I still stick by it. Jamie in the last 5 years.
Yes,
I just think it'd be like, I just think he's got such great songs.
he does.
And the character arc of that, like, at the end of that show when I first watched it, it broke my heart. I was like, you are a horrible person. And that made me want to do it. The challenge, eh?
It's a great way of always putting it, or choosing the character. I don't like you, so that's why I want to do it.
Yeah.
I
just think it was a really good show, and I just thought the songs cool, and I'd love to be Kathy too, but I'd love to be Jamie as well.
For gender bend, it'd have to be Jamie. Yeah. Great. What's your favourite musical theatre song? It doesn't have to be one you like to perform. It can be any song, but what's your favourite musical theatre song?
That's really hard. Okay, I have a couple. Can I say a couple?
Yeah, of course you can.
I like As Long As He Needs Me from Oliver. I like Home from the Wiz because that's just like a go-to. I like I'm Here from The Colour Purple. I like there's a song called We Had a Dream from the Life, which is stunning. It's such a nice song. I like that song as well. What's the other one called that I really like? There's one from Caroline and Change, which is a really lovely song.
One of the most underrated musicals I have ever seen.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I remember for one of my rep classes at GSA, we had to find I can't remember even who is it Janine Tesori who wrote
that. Name rings a bell anyway. Yeah,
I think it is. I might be wrong, but it was like that week of like that composer, and we had to find a song, and I found one from Caroline and Change, and what is it called? Something about being on a bus, and it's such a good song. It's like a really short song. I'm going to dig out my rep, whatever it is. It's called like Get on the Bus or Get off the Bus or something about the bus, but it's a really good song anyway. So these are quite out there songs, aren't they?
But they're different. They're not the usual musical theatre songs, which I love.
Yeah. I think I like Get Out and Stay Out as well. I just think that's a banger. I think that's a really good song. Yeah. And Lost in Translation from Lift, that's a really good song as well.
There's some really good ones here. You've got some, and really different, which I love. Definitely, they're not, as I say, your usual.
Yeah.
Bring them home from Les Mis, which is I'm not slagging them off in any way, but
yeah. To be fair, I do like bringing him home from Les Mis.
Everybody kind of says they're the kind of go-to answers, but you actually thought about it and come up with some different. Caroline and Change, definitely underrated musical. I saw it with Sharon D. Clark.
I think it's such a like after obviously like looking at it when I was at GSA and looking at the songs and stuff, like it's such a good musical, and Sharon D. Clark was in it, so come on, it's obviously amazing.
The problem was it was on at the same time as Six. When you were in, that was the problem. You were in at 6 at the same time.
Yeah.
So trying to get time to go and see it, probably you struggled.
I couldn't get, and obviously wasn't it down in like Chichester, so I just couldn't get.
No, it came up. It did do a run in the Playhouse.
Oh, did it? Yes.
Yeah, it did. A very short run, but it did do a run in the Playhouse.
Yes, I was never going to be able to say that was another thing about being in the West End, that when so many amazing things were on, I was never off to go and see them. And on a Monday night, but like, so the last thing you want to do is go and be sat in a theatre when you work in one.
Aye, it's like a busman's holiday.
Yeah, so it was so hard to go and see things. Like, obviously, I had so many friends in the West End, and I want to go and see them in shows, but just never could. Never could. So annoying.
I know, I can imagine, unless you were going as 6, unless the cast were invited.
Yeah, I've got to say one of the best things I saw when, well, two of the things I did see was Amelia at the Vaudeville Theatre, which was, I was crying out. I went to see that with my friend Max Harwood, and it was just unreal. It was amazing. And Jesus Christ Superstar at the Barbican, I got to see. And I never have a Tuesday night off, and I had a Tuesday night off, and I went to see it with my friend Jen and her family.
That was, yes. I saw it in the Barbican.
Oh, because my friend Josh was in it. Oh my gosh, that was one of the best things. I think the best things I've ever seen.
And it was so, like, for the same production, I saw it at the Regent Airs the year before, open air, and then I saw it at the Barbican, and it was exactly the same production, but the differences were so unbelievable. Like, It was, oh no, it was, yeah, I've got to say it was very good. But you mentioned there, sorry, you saw Amelia with who?
My friend Max Harwood, who's going to be
I
James.
was about to say, that's a name and a drop and a half there for musical theatre. You're friends with the film Jamie?
Yeah. So we went to GSA together. He was in the foundation year. And when I was in, I think we had this conversation. I think I was either in first or second year. I can't remember. But I've known him ever since then. And yeah, he's just a really good friend of mine.
Yes, I just you kind of swiftly dropped that in there, Maiya. That was kind of, I'll just drop Max Harwood in there.
My name dropped now. No, I absolutely love him. Like, he's so down to earth. He's the most humble person you've ever met. Like, he's just amazing. Like,
I sat in the same theatre as him, and I didn't realise.
Really?
So it was just after he was announced as the Jamie for the film, and we went to see Once on This Island at the Southwark, and he was there. And it wasn't till he was walking out and past the window, I went, oh, there's Max Harwood. Oh, that was Max Harwood. I'm like, oh.
He was spotted.
I'm like, oh. He was spotted in it, as it happens, because later on at night, there was photos of him coming like with people, and I'm like, I was there. I could have met the boy. But
doubly talented, doubly nice. Yeah, he's such a good all-around. I'm going to tell him.
Maybe you could tell him about West End Talks.
Oh, well, I'll drop him in.
Last question is what's your top 5 shows?
Okay. Deaths a Rose, The Wiz is another one. Colour Purple, these are some of my favourite shows, basically. I really like Wild Party. I think Wild Party is a really good musical. I like the LaCusha version and the Lipper version. I think they're both great.
Yeah.
And one more. Ooh. Now I'm stumped. Got 4 and I got one more. Parade. 6.
No,
one of my favourites.
What was the last one you said? Sorry, before
I really like Parade. I think Parade's a really good musical.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, but you've obviously this will hold a special.
And then 6, obviously 6.
Yeah. It's got top 6. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, never thought about that.
Obviously 6.
I never thought about doing the top 6 shows. Oh, see, you're just smarter than me. That's what it is. More talented, better looking, smarter.
Oh,
do you want to take my job? The last bit, Maiya, tonight is, have you heard of the Ice Bucket Challenge?
I have.
You have, right. We're not going to ask you to pour ice over it. Don't panic. That's not the part. But with that, you poured ice, you did the ice, and then you had to nominate somebody. So we've come up with the West End Talks nomination. So what we'd like you to do is publicly nominate somebody. It can be anyone from theatre or musicals. It doesn't have to be theatre.
Okay.
It can be on or off stage, but like front house, back house, whatever.
Okay.
Because we're interviewing directors, producers, cast, everything. And all we'll ask you to do is at the end go onto Twitter. Once we finish the chat, just pop up just on the top West End Talks. Now it's your turn and tag them in a post.
Oh, who am I going to nominate? So I can nominate anyone,
anyone you want. It doesn't have to be from Six. It can be anyone you want. It can be somebody from Six if you want. But
I'm going to nominate Mary Jean Caldwell.
Oh, that's a good choice.
She was one of my best friends at GSA, and she's just finished Les Mis. She was in The Pirate Queen when that was on earlier this year, and she's amazing. And I think you'd have a really good chat with her. That's great.
So what you do then is pop her name in a tag us and tag her in a post saying it's now your turn.
Okay.
That's all we ask. But that, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but that brings us to the end.
Oh,
it has been absolutely wonderful. It's been great fun. Thank you very much once again for joining us.
No, thank you.
It's been an absolute privilege. It's been really fun talking to you and getting to know Maiya rather than Catherine Parr. But all that's left to say is for you guys at home is obviously me and Maiya's not here just for fun, as much as it was fun. We are here to try and help raise money for Acting for Others. So all we ask is if you can, donate anything, whatever you can, to Acting for Others. The link will be in the bio below on YouTube. So anything at all you can, please pop it into the Just Giving page. It will go straight to Acting for Others. And all that's left for me to say is, next up, we do have a chat with Luke Walsh, who is just back from Chess in Japan and Rock of Ages UK tour. And he's also one of the leads in Penny on Mars in the Disney Channel. So we'll talk more about that next time. So join us then when we've got Luke Walsh. But lastly, all to say is thank you very much once again, Maiya, for joining us. It's been an absolute privilege. And thank you very much. Good night.
Wow.
Bye.
We're one of a kind, no category. Too many years lost in history. We're